October 27th, show number 2.
Sweet darling, there ain't no getting over me.
Hi, I'm Charlie Cook with Coors Country News. We've been talking this week with superstar Ronnie Milsap. Just to look ahead a little, another Ronnie joins us next week. A Ronnie who has also had a recent #1 nationwide hit. It's Ronnie McDowell, starting tomorrow right here. But first, a final chat for now with Ronnie Milsap. It's been a fascinating week with a remarkable artist, and we'll have some more after this for Coors.
I was working as a roughneck way up near Wolf Creek Pass, sinking lengths of drilling pipe for mountain oil and gas, when a foreman from another rig slapped me on my back, said, "I'll bet you all the Coors in town we beat you to the bubbling black. Every man who works a shift on a rig up here deserves the fresh taste of Coors, that satisfying Coors beer." Well, we raced him straight towards China, and we hit that Gusher Square. And when that foreman finished buying beer, there wasn't a Coors to spare. Every man who works a shift on a rig up here deserves the fresh taste of Coors, that satisfying Coors beer.
Taste the high country.
Taste the high country. Taste Coors. Brewed with pure Rocky Mountain spring water by the Adolph Coors Company, Golden, Colorado.
As our interview progressed, I couldn't help but get the idea that I was talking to a guy who would really like to be a rock and roller. So I asked him. Ronnie thought it was a little funny, and he had this response.
Well, it's a crazy thing, Charlie, but growing up in the 50s, I listened to radio stations that would play Ray Price, and right after it, they'd play Little Willie John. And they'd play, the latest thing but Jim Reeves, and right after that, they'd play Little Richard. I grew up in a time when it was okay for me to love my country music, and it was okay for me to like, the rock and roll that was going on at that time. And I do. I love both. And it's a shame that maybe it's not as bad as it was at a time 2 or 3 years ago, that if you were country, you couldn't be anything else, or if you were rock and roll, you were damned if you loved country. It seems to me, that those lines aren't, nearly so defined today, and you don't get quite the ridicule today, if you happen to like both. But I have to be a combination of all the things that I've come through, and where I came from, out of the bluegrass of the Smoky Mountains. So what's in my heart. If I come through rock and roll, and I've played, in that, so I'm a little bit of both, and I enjoy being a little bit of both, and I think that I can do a little bit of both, and I can do it with feeling, and do it with conviction, and do it from the heart.
Folks all love that country cooking, from California to Maine to Tennessee. Folks all love that country cooking. Country cooking's the only kind for me.
And so, as is the case of other great country singers and writers we've talked to over the past couple of months, artists like Merle Haggard and Waylon Jennings, Charlie Daniels, the Bellamy Brothers, the Thrasher Brothers, Johnny Lee, Sylvia, and Roseanne Cash, it all boils down to this, from the heart. Our sincere thanks to Ronnie Milsap for joining us. I'm Charlie Cook, Coors Country News.